daylight abduction in small-town South Carolina.
100 people could scream and not be heard.
Leaves a family desperate for answers.
Where is she? What's happening to her?
There was a creeping darkness that this is not going to end well at all.
And with clues in short supply, CCTV might be detectives' only hope.
My first instinct is, whoever you are, I got you on video.
But will they discover the truth before it is too late?
There he is, there. The most frightening thing is that she's walking around oblivious to the fact that she is being spied upon.
Christmas Day, 2011. Kershaw, South Carolina. 30-year-old Sunday school teacher Hope Melton and her husband Gary are filled with the holiday spirit.
Great. Can't wait to see you.
Hope was very kind, gracious person, very sweet, tender, very loving person.
Merry Christmas.
She has big blue eyes, the biggest I'd ever seen.
Merry Christmas.
If you had never met Hope, you really missed out. I will say that.
After church, Hope and Gary welcome everyone to their home to exchange gifts.
She always smiled. There was never a time that I noticed that she wasn't smiling.
Hope has plenty of reasons to be happy. She's been married to Gary for a little over a year, and their future is bright.
So, are you pregnant yet? No, but we're trying.
She really wanted to be a mom, and she had finally found the right man to start her family with. The next day, the festivities continue with a visit to Hope's grandmother, who lives 29 miles away.
Hey, Grandma. Yes, I'll be there for lunch. Yes, I put it in the box.
This time, she's traveling solo.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Honey, wait. You forgot one.
Thank you. Thanks.
You be careful driving out there. It's pretty nasty out.
I will. I will.
Call me when you get there.
I will. Jeez, you're worse than my car.
I know. Have fun.
I will. Bye.
It's 12:45, and Hope is 15 minutes overdue at her grandmother's. But when she finally makes contact...
Grandma, get help. Someone's following me.
Relief turns to horror.
What do you say?
Some guy's chasing me. Call the police.
Hope tells her grandmother she's being chased, and the call cuts out.
She's in trouble.
Try again.
Hope sounded so desperate, and fear and terror in her voice.
The customer you're trying to reach is not available.
The family's attempts to call Hope back go unanswered.
Try your phone again. Yeah.
Trying. It's going to voicemail.
In a panic, Hope's mom and grandma head out to look for her.
Oh, baby, it's Mama. Call me, okay? Oh, my God. Oh, that's her car. Mr. Car, stop. Stop right here. Oh, baby.
5 miles away, on a long stretch of rural road,
Oh, baby.
they spot her car.
A million things went through their mind.
Where is she? You're home. Home.
You know, they were frantic.
Hope's family immediately dial 911. The call is transferred to the county sheriff's office.
When the call came in, it was dispatched out to our officers as a missing person.
Captain Vaughn heads straight to the scene.
It's very important as soon as a missing person call comes out to start moving fast.
Vaughn examines Hope's car.
Vehicle accidents are common in our area, but typically we have the person that was in the wreck still on scene, and the car wouldn't have been left in gear.
Looking everywhere, and I just...
This particular call was very unusual.
Searching for her.
He finds Hope's purse, but her wallet is missing.
Miss Melton's husband was on scene, I walked over to him, and I can remember he was so visibly shaking and upset.
Gary tells Vaughn that Hope planned to stop for gas en route to her grandmother's.
I guess it was.
So far, it's detectives' only lead.
And I knew that we had to somehow or another get somebody to the gas station.
Detective Greg Burns is assigned to the case.
When the call came out and said we have a possible 1080 missing person, it's very rare in Jefferson. It set our reaction time and adrenaline to max levels. I wanted to see them lady home safely.
But with multiple gas stations on the route to Hope's grandmother's, he'll need to do some sleuthing.
I said, okay, we have 4 gas stations. I decided to go to the furthest one away and work my way back.
First stop, Jefferson Food Market.
Hey, Donna.
The first gas station Hope could have reached.
Your cameras, the new ones, are they working?
Sure.
It is a very exciting moment when we realized that this location has surveillance footage.
Burns asks to see footage of the hour before Hope's panic call to her family.
So I'm looking for you.
According to her husband, Hope left home at around 11:45.
Just let me scroll.
They cue up the footage to 12:15 and press play. At 12:19, a male customer enters the store. They keep watching.
Is that her?
3 minutes later, a female customer arrives.
Give me a minute. Captain, it's Burns. Hope, how tall did you say she was again?
Hope was about 5'5", about 140 pounds, female, blonde hair, with a pink shirt on and blue jeans. And I knew the young lady on the camera was taller than 5'5", just from her appearance on the camera.
It's not her.
They scroll through the footage up to 12:45. But there's no sign of Hope.
I felt frustrated,
Have a good day. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks. Sorry I couldn't help more.
but I was saying to myself, I got 3 more stores to go to. In my mind, I was praying that one of them might have caught a glimpse of her.
Burns heads to the next gas station in the center of Jefferson. Meantime, Hope's family remain in a state of shock.
Yeah, I understand.
There were a lot of plausible explanations that we were looking for. There was a faint hope that perhaps she had just gotten stuck on the bank and had gotten out of the car and was walking, and maybe somebody had picked her up to take her somewhere to get help.
Okay, thank you.
Be sick.
Nothing.
As the day progressed with no word, of course we began to worry, where is she? What's happening to her? You know, why hasn't she tried to contact us?
I still had hope that we would find her alive, but I knew it was extremely serious.
The next gas station Burns visits is only 10 miles from where Hope's abandoned car was found. What's more, it's got cameras recording every visitor.
That shows outside.
And Burns is about to learn Hope was here.
Hey, Grandma. Yes, I'll be there for lunch.
Sunday school teacher Hope Melton has been missing for 3 hours after vanishing en route to her grandmother's house.
Grandma, get help. Someone's following me.
At Jack's gas station, 10 miles from her abandoned car, Detective Greg Burns may have found his first lead on surveillance video.
Okay, what cameras do you have?
Well, I got this one here.
Manager Jack thinks he might have seen Hope at around 12 p.m.
I felt nervous. I had butterflies, my palms were sweaty.
They cue up the exterior camera to that time and press play.
She was at the gas pump at the very furthest away from the store by the highway. I focused on every single detail of her, what she was wearing, her behavior.
This time, there's no doubt. It's Hope Melton.
My first instinct was, okay, I have hope. Let me see what happens from this point.
You have another outside camera?
Jack loads up another angle, showing the gas station forecourt. A man holds the door open for Hope, and she heads inside.
Okay, let's take a look inside.
Hope pays for her gas and leaves the store.
The person I was seeing on the camera, she appeared to be happy, in good spirits. It looked like she was really looking forward to enjoying the rest of her day.
Play it back again.
Watching the clip again, it's not Hope that catches Burns' attention. It's the man behind her.
You can tell by the surveillance footage that she was being followed into the store by a gentleman wearing a white cap.
The man in the white cap turns to look at Hope as he enters.
I made a mental note of everything that he was wearing during that time. Mental note of his behavior.
As Hope pays for her gas and leaves, Burns watches to see what he does next. He pays at the counter and exits the store. There's nothing that helps ID the white-capped man in this footage.
Let's rewind that footage outside.
They switch to the exterior camera. Perhaps they can identify his vehicle. As Hope crosses the forecourt, a black minivan pulls in. Seconds later, the man in the white cap steps out. But frustratingly, there's no plate on the front of his vehicle.
Show me her leaving.
They switch to another exterior camera that shows more of the parking lot. Hope returns to her vehicle. As she's about to pull away, a gray car pulls up. A man gets out, turning to look at Hope's car as she leaves. But neither that driver nor the white-capped man follows Hope out of the gas station.
I watched that section over and over and over again to get every single detail I could possibly get.
Burns is sure that further clues must lie in the gas station footage. He just has to find them. Back at the scene of Hope's disappearance, the forensics team find no clues as to her whereabouts. Volunteers and police fan out to search the surrounding area.
Being that it was roughly 100,000 acres, I was very concerned that we was going to have a hard time being able to find Miss Melton. I knew Hope personally, and she was a very sweet lady, a caring lady, and I knew her family from going to school with her older sister. This case was very personal to me.
Hope has now been missing for 4 hours, and her loved ones are increasingly desperate to find her.
We didn't know the full details, but we were all out looking for her, searching for her.
Hey, it's Gary. Have you seen Hope today at all?
We kept thinking she's going to come home in the same condition she left, and all this is going to be behind us. We never gave up hope.
Back at Jack's gas station, Burns continues to scour the exterior footage. They switch back to the first camera. As Hope returns to her car, another vehicle enters the frame. It's an orange Chevy. They switch cameras. The Chevy swerves across the parking lot and turns back towards the exit.
I found it very suspicious. Like, what are you up to, and why are you pulling up?
And as Hope pulls away, Burns realizes something terrifying. The orange car is following her. 4 hours since Hope Melton vanished, Detective Greg Burns believes he spotted a vehicle following her in the lead-up to her disappearance. Burns watches as an orange Chevy swerves across the gas station forecourt, trailing Hope as she leaves. With proof Hope was followed out of the gas station, Burns needs to find out what happened next.
Sir!
Meantime, the search party finally turns up a clue. "6 miles from Hope's abandoned car, they discover a pink bracelet and a blood-spattered blanket.
Finding her bracelet, seeing blood, all of that raised alarm bells that caused grave concern for Hope's well-being.
In Kershaw, Hope's husband Gary turns to his brother Frankie for support.
Know where your mind's going right now?
We still expected to find her alive. The law enforcement officers would find her and we would go on living our lives.
They're desperate for news from the search party.
Hello? Can you tell me, did your wife own a pink bracelet?
Yeah, I gave it to her for Christmas.
Found it in the woods, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
He was unable to speak. I have never seen Gary that emotionally distraught. It was a slow process, like a creeping darkness, that this is not going to end well at all.
Back in the center of Jefferson, Detective Burns needs to confirm if the orange Chevy was still following Hope after she left the gas station. Less than half a mile from Jack's, he finds another potential source of video. Security cameras at an office building overlooking the road out of town. But the building is still closed for Christmas.
Sorry to interrupt your holidays, but we need to check your surveillance footage.
I really felt like I needed to do more to try to find her, to make sure that we bring her home safely.
The office manager shows up to let him in.
I really appreciate this. We're in a real hurry.
Not a problem.
The office has multiple cameras overlooking its parking lot and the road Hope would have taken to her grandmother's.
The main purpose is to rule out the person of interest that pulled out of the parking lot behind her. Was he still behind her, or did he turn off somewhere?
But it's a confusing collage of footage.
Okay, what's going on?
Because the offices are closed, the cameras are set to record only when they sense movement. They cue up the footage to just after 12 p.m.
Okay, wait, play that again.
Okay.
Can you zoom in on that shot?
Yep. Back.
Okay, pause.
It's Hope's silver Malibu.
I saw Hope car come through the intersection, Main Street, and then there was that few second delay. Part of me was like, okay, maybe the orange car turned off. And then all of a sudden, the orange car reappears.
Run that back again. And pause.
It's the same car Burns saw following Hope out of the gas station. The footage shows the orange Chevy just yards behind Hope's car.
It gave me a sickening feeling.
Do you have another camera outside?
It was chilling because you see Hope Melton's Malibu being followed very closely.
My first instinct is, why are you following her? And my second instinct was, you son of a gun.
Okay.
And then my third instinct was, whoever you are, I got you on video.
Both cars are headed northbound, towards the road through the forest, where Hope's car was found.
Can you get right in on the plates?
Let's see.
It's impossible to read the license plate, but it's a distinctive vehicle. So Burns immediately puts out a bolo. Determined to chase down his strongest lead, Burns heads out to look for the Chevy himself.
From viewing the video surveillance, I hung around the Jefferson area, constantly making trips back and forth. As I was traveling east on 265, met this car. Once I saw the car, I felt very excited. It was a burnt orange in color. It matched the description of the vehicle that was in the video surveillance. I had a strong conviction that this was the car that I was looking for. I approached the vehicle. It just seems like every single thing was happening in slow motion. I was hoping to see Miss Melton in the vehicle. When I looked in the vehicle, the windows rolled down, all I saw was the driver.
License and registration, sir.
He was sweating across his forehead, and it wasn't a warm day. First thing I said to myself is, what is this young kid doing, and why is he so nervous?
The driver is 23-year-old local Nicholas Miller. Detective Burns takes Miller in for questioning.
Got you some water in case you get thirsty.
I was having a regular conversation with him because, one, I wanted him to calm down.
Look, I just want to ask you a few questions.
He was guarded.
We saw you driving around the area and we thought you might have seen something. Seen something?
We asked him, was he at Jack's? And did he see the young lady at Jack's?
Who'd you say? Hope?
But everything we asked him, he returned the answer in a question form.
With Miller being evasive, Burns changes tack.
Okay, so tell me what you've been doing today. What's been happening?
I went to Walmart.
Miller says he spent the morning shopping at a Walmart 30 miles away. He then drove back to Jefferson.
I guess he was giving me just enough to satisfy my question.
What is lunchtime? 12?
But in the back of my mind, I had this strange sense that he done something.
So if I go over to Walmart and look at their cameras, you'll be on there?
Yes, sir.
Burns applies for a warrant to search Miller's Chevy and heads to Walmart to check out his story. And what he's about to see is far from a regular shopping trip. The prime suspect in the disappearance of Hope Melton has claimed he was shopping at a Walmart 30 miles away in the hours before she went missing. While police wait for a warrant to search Nicholas Miller's car, Detective Greg Burns is at the Walmart to check out his story. The store has multiple cameras recording every inch of the shop floor.
Law enforcement was very pleased that they were able to get surveillance from Walmart because it helped piece together the activities of Nicholas Miller.
He was driving an orange Chevy?
They cue up the footage from that morning and start watching. At 10 a.m., the parking lot is starting to fill up.
That's it. That's the right car.
A distinctive orange Chevy comes into frame. The driver emerges wearing similar clothing to Miller's. It's him. So far, his story checks out.
When I first saw him pull up at Walmart early in the morning, my first instinct was, okay, he looked like he's enjoying his day. And he's just going to Walmart like a normal day.
Right, can you show me the entrance? Yeah.
He just seems like he's just going on about business as usual.
He didn't pick up a shopping cart or a shopping basket. He didn't even pick up no items out of the store. Who goes to Walmart to walk around up and down the aisles with nothing? He was everywhere in the store. He was on one camera and this camera, like he was just all over the place.
Play it on, play it on.
To me, like he was actually in the store for a totally different purpose.
Investigators have a theory.
Maybe he's not looking at items to purchase. He's looking for something or someone.
Where did he go? Let's see the main aisle.
They find Miller, and it seems to Detective Burns, he's found what he's looking for. A blonde woman walks down the aisle ahead of him and disappears. Miller isn't far behind. The woman reappears.
I think that she startled him, and that moment threw him off.
Moments later, he continues his pursuit.
The most frightening thing is the fact that she's walking around a potential target.
Miller seems to have lost sight of the woman. She reappears, but this time she's with a man.
At that point, it'd be safe to assume that he realized that that was not a realistic target for him. She does not realize how fortunate she is.
Minutes later, the couple leaves the store. Investigators believe this woman may have had a lucky escape. And now, more than ever, fear for Hope's safety.
Now where's Miller?
Burns spots Miller on a different camera, headed for the exit.
When he comes out of Walmart, it's almost as if he's disappointed because a potential target has slipped out of his grasp.
They watch him leave.
One can only assume that at that point, he heads back to Jefferson, where he ultimately encounters Hope.
Back at the police garage, the warrant for Miller's car has been approved, and a forensic team is about to search it end to end. What they will find reveals a truth more terrible than anyone could have imagined. 6 hours after Hope Melton vanished, police have prime suspect Nicholas Miller in custody and are about to search his vehicle. Meantime, Hope's loved ones are clinging to the possibility that she'll still come home alive.
The clock ticked very slowly. It seemed to be in slow motion. We waited, it seemed like endless hours for news. There was just really no comprehension of what was going on or how to piece it together.
The darker it became, that's when all kinds of worry and stress and everything jump out at you. That she's not going to be returned home.
At the police garage, a forensic team processes Miller's car.
I seen some blood splatter on the fender of the passenger side, and I seen some blood splatter on the driver's side bumper.
Investigators also find Hope's missing wallet and ID.
She had to have been in this car.
They bring Miller back in for questioning.
Nicholas, thank you for coming back in. Take a seat.
I think that when he came back in the interview room, I felt like the interview has moved to the phase of now who did it, but where she's located at.
Come on, tell us, what did you do?
With the evidence stacked against him, Miller finally admits his guilt. and agrees to take police to Hope's body.
It was very quiet. Traveling with him, it was nervous, anxious. I sat into the car for a few moments and took a couple deep breaths. So I had a mixture of emotions going on.
Miller leads detectives to a remote turkey farm, 14 miles from the crash site.
Is that her? Over there?
He showed us where she was. In my 22 years here at the Sheriff's Department, I had never seen anything like this before. You could tell she had been brutally beaten. We could see her lying on the ground, on her back, face up, didn't have any clothes on. After seeing Miss Hope Melton laying there, it was very disturbing, you know, because I initially thought about my daughter.
It was a really bad scene. There's no explanation that he could give that can explain why he did that.
Back at the church, the family are still waiting for news.
I was standing, my brother was seated next to me, and I had my hand on his shoulder.
We found Hope's body. I'm sorry.
The sheriff said Hope met her fate tonight. It was a terrible, terrible moment.
Now, police can finally piece together the events that led to Hope Melton's brutal murder. Investigators learn that Miller recently split from his girlfriend. They believe this may have caused him to snap, but will never know for sure. At Jack's gas station, Miller crossed paths with Hope Melton as she filled up her car. It's in those fateful moments that he decided to pursue her.
When you watch in the vehicle following Hope's Malibu, you feel absolutely powerless to do anything.
She had a great Christmas with her family, looking forward to a great day with her grandmother. She had no idea that somebody was following her.
Once they reach the remote road through the forest, Hope realizes she's in danger.
There was somebody's chasing me. I don't know who. Call the police. I don't know what to do. Where's Mom? Grandma, get help.
Miller confesses he forced Hope off the road.
My heart aches for her in those moments.
And dragged her out of her car and into his own. He then drove her into the woods and sexually assaulted her. Afterward, Miller attempted to cover his tracks, driving Hope to the turkey farm, beating her to death with a baseball bat, and dumping her body.
She stopped to get gas, and by the end of the day, she is beaten beyond recognition. It is beyond human comprehension.
Nicholas Miller is charged with murder, kidnap, and criminal sexual conduct in the first degree. Ahead of trial, his ex-girlfriend comes forward with a horrifying piece of evidence. A photo she snapped of Miller chasing her in his orange Chevy, just hours before he would chase and kill Hope Melton. Miller pleads guilty and is sentenced to life in prison without parole. A prosecution made possible by CCTV.
When you're looking at surveillance, you don't always look for the big things. Sometimes the devil's in the detail.
Following Miller's imprisonment, Hope's family set up a charity in her name to raise awareness of violence against women.
Hope's murder changed all of our lives. It shattered any sense of peace that we had, our safety in this world, our trust in humanity.
Why did it happen? You just don't want it to be for no reason. How could you? And how dare you?